Yes. It's like summer, we are here again. So it's really great to be here, Sai, and then we specifically want to talk about markets. And every time we mention kusu, I mean the preference every time unaongea kusu market, in my mind Kenya inamaanisha ni in some sense people. Like when people are together in one space, whatever happened in that, when 2 or 3 are gathered, or when people are exchanging value, for me that's I see market as. But hiyo ni definition yangu. But before tuendelee na hiyo story zote, maybe a quick introduction.
Yeah. Santa Giuliani for the quick intro. So my name is Ebenezer Amadi. I'm program manager for a program called Sustainable Inclusive Business, which is a knowledge center under the Kenya Private Sector Alliance.
Nice. I'm the sustainable champion.
Hey, or sustainable inclusive business. Hapo sawa.
People should know that. People should know that. Jesse.
Hi everyone. Jessica Colasso, tech entrepreneur and upcoming artist. Dropping my NFT soon during Nairobi Startup Week, so check it out. Happy to be here with Giuliani and Amadi today.
We are doing intros as if we were Nini, and then we have the same clothes.
I know.
So hata isaidi, lakini sawa tu. So I was saying earlier, for me, every time there's 2 or 3, there's exchange of value, I see that as a market or a marketplace. So I don't know definition yako ya market ni nini.
Definition ya market ni vile umeanza. Unajua kitambo kulikuwa ni place people meet and then they trade, right? So utapata mimi nimekuja na maziwa, wewe labda umekuja na mandazi. So jusina tuna trade. So ile barter trade. But again it then proceeded to a point that people needed something to exchange, ndio kusikuwe na perishables kila saa unaenda nyanya kwa shop hawezi yaka. So as umesema, the marketplace ni where people meet to exchange value. So wewe kuna value, mimi kuna value, tunaweza exchange. Inaweza kuwa service. In marketing ukiangalia the definition of a product ina include both the service na inaweza kuwa bidhaa ile umebeba ama umetengeneza.
Jesse, your definition of markets?
I think marketplace or markets is like trading. You're trading a product or you're trading a service, and in return you get like a value add. And the value add can be monetary or non-monetary. As mentioned by Amadi, can be like barter trade as done in history, but it's the exchange of goods and services pretty much happening in the ecosystem.
Okay. So when I was in high school, Kenya nilishika sana kwa business study ilikuwa ni about your market, and I there's a book I read kitambo trying to explain. I mean, before we talk about, I mean, we can't talk about, I don't know if we should talk about prices and whatever, but was trying to explain, for me to get what you're offering, I have to give value. Like I have to see it as something important to me that will make my life better or something. So in the now you come from a place of trust. Maybe when I'm Rasta, when I'm Nini, we had come from different neighborhoods, different Nini. So at what particular point do I know that you can pay product, kwanza ni si fake? At what particular point that trust play, and does money, that's what money does in a space like that, where money is the only interpretation of trust for market.
But I think before you go there, one of the things to look at as an entrepreneur, because the most critical definition of an entrepreneur is someone who solves problems. So you go to the market with the intention to solve a problem. Now, if I go to the market and I find Jessie there, and she probably does not have something that is warm because the weather is a bit cold, right? My solution will be probably a jacket or something that will make you feel a bit warm. So with that, then you will want to exchange what I have with what I need, right? So that was barter trade. But now, since we have money, then I'll put a price to the solution that I'm offering. So that's why kuna kuwa na legal tender. So something that you will trust that if you go with it to the market, it still has value. So that is a point, basic point now where people have trust to trade with legal tender. Your element ilikuwa nasema ya trust. Now the value again sometimes of a product is dependent on economics, forces of demand and supply. So kama nyinyi wawili mnataka the coat that I have, she's willing to offer 1,000 bob, and you need it more, unaniambia I have.
Enda kunyonga kwa street. I'm willing to nyonga you.
Unaniambia you have 1,500. No. As the seller hapa hivi, I'll be willing to give it to you because unanipatia price iko juu. Since the commodity is scarce, that's why you're willing to offer more so that you get it. Right. So kuna hiyo that element of trust because of the legal tender saizi. And again, when you look at the market, where we said it's a place where you go and offer a solution, then looking at it from a global context, we also realize that the market is diverse. So market tu sio Gikosh bali unaweza enda ukauza, una realize unaweza uza product yako Uganda. You can sell it to the UK. So market ni kubwa sasa.
You may open up because of technology or because of
yes.
What access, certain level of access, or
I mean, modes of transport. Saizi, before it was a bit difficult for you to sell flowers from Kenya upeleke Netherlands, right? Juu labda process ilikuwa fupi kidogo. By the time unatoka na the commodity huko kwa shamba, it may take time. Na labda una storage nini to keep it fresh until you get to the market. So the dynamics again then will tell you that the market opens up as an entrepreneur looking at it from the global perspective and your local context. Right?
Amadi, let's go a little deeper into types of markets that exist. Like, what are the types of markets that exist in the Kenyan ecosystem or the African ecosystem? And narrowing it down more to technology and the creatives, artists, musicians.
With creatives and musicians, you see now.
First, types of markets.
Sorry?
What are the types of markets that exist?
We'll go with the traditional market where now you can go, as we were saying, a place where you can sell your product. If you're talking about an artist, then you'll have probably your music or piece of art that you can take to a common place where buyers will come and purchase. The next one is on technology. You can sell your value or your piece of art through the internet, right? So those are two levels of markets where you're able to provide your goods or service.
All right. I was thinking of it more like an oligopoly and the monopoly market. Like we have. Nimechanganya, lakini oligopoly. Hizo ni market definitions. Lakini.
So when you go about to the monopoly, oligopoly. Monopoly basically would mean that ideally there is one person offering a product.
Yeah.
Right. So it means the word mono, right? Means you are driving the market prices because you are alone in that particular market, and that's why sometimes then the government encourages competition. We had a point where Kenya Power was a monopoly, right, in energy, but now you see also the private sector is also coming in. Kuna sources of wind and private sector also coming in, try to plug it into the grid. At some point you had that discussion where one of the network providers, kila mtu alikuwa anasema ati the monopoly, right? But wakasema sio monopoly, everyone has the equal opportunity to provide that particular service, right? So if you look at it from that context, then it's just a matter of how many players are in the market and the dynamics of demand and supply, how they play out. So hiyo tutakuwa tumeenda economics.
Yep.
Ukiangalia hizo graphs za oligopoly na nini.
Yes.
Lakini unajua sasa tukianza kwenda hapo tutachanganya.
Tukachanganya hapo.
Basically, hata Juliana anatuacha.
I know these things, bro. Nimenya tu the words nazini hepa. I know the words. So because I mean so for me I broke down everything to when it comes to market. Of course you're talking about product, you're talking about supply.
Service.
But ni exchange of value.
Yeah.
Sindio. So it's exchange of value. Maybe ile ango nilikuwa nataka sana, I was interested in sana because even in my notes I wrote like we are moving too fast or so fast. We are moving too fast for Kenyans. So let's say with the conversation around inclusivity and inclusive business. So you're talking about, you're telling businesses that you need to look at this aspect of your production, this aspect of manufacturing, like this as value. Whatever you produce as a byproduct of, byproduct production, kuna inaitwaje kuna impact ya climate, kuna nini. So for me to adapt to your solution right now as a private sector, I need to see beyond my profit. I need to see what you're trying to tell me. So what I'm trying to understand is that the Kenyans, first of all, before we talk about manufacturers and whatever, do we think, before I come with a product or a service, do we think our people, do you go out and look at problems and then solve it? Ama do you sit and say these are solutions, but so I have to get people to adopt that?
So
at what?
So if we look at it from the angle where she was talking about in terms of the different markets, in terms of the players and in the markets, then there's something that is called competitive advantage. Meaning, if we are many providers in the market, then my product needs to have a higher value than the rest.
More stickiness.
Yeah, that will make you buy my product and leave the other. So the idea that you're talking about, the element you're talking about is where now the service providers or the people offering a product have to look at an added value to their product that will make consumers buy their product. You know, now people are becoming conscious of the environment. Labda unaweza enda kwa duka useme, juu ana offer service that probably is leading to increased greenhouse gas emissions, I'll not buy from her.
But are those?
So it's only aspects that consumers. So as a producer or as an entrepreneur, you also have to look into that.
No, but the so when you come up with that solution, does it mean, if you come up with that conversation, does it mean is imposed on you from, is that a global conversation and then you're trying to localize it, or does it mean when a customer, me saying shopping, there's a big difference when my wife goes shopping and when I shop. Unaona, mimi
unaangalia price.
Either price, ama I just wanted nini, I just go pick it. How I realize she goes and look at nini, she look at all the details. So what I see prices peke yake, there's other details on it. So
ingredients.
Exactly. So is the consumer in the marketplace, do they go extra that it will compel even the manufacturer to think extra? Ama does the manufacturer do that because there's tax breaks or whatever or something like that?
So kuna different elements hapo. In some contexts, other companies have their sustainability strategies. So when they create a product, their packaging, they're looking at how can we ensure that our packaging is eco-friendly, right? But saa zingine they're pushed by what the consumers demand.
Which is hardly.
Ngoja, ile nini, wacha tuanze simple na mandazi. Mandazi imekuanga 5 bob for a long time. Nini imekuwa ikichange?
Mafuta ina increase, nini ina increase but ina maintain.
Size ndio imekuwa ikichange. Kitambo ilikuwa mandazi moja kubwa sana, si ndio?
True.
Lakini since consumers wanataka tu mandazi ya 5 bob, una reduce to size.
Okay.
Hadi size uko
So the consumer influences.
Yes, the consumers have a big role to play.
Okay.
In the market. Juu huwezi kuja tu kwa market and you're not solving a problem. Hata wewe, if you look critically when you're going to buy a product, any product that you're going to buy is solving a need that you have. Si ndio? Hata kama ni sabuni, unaweza angalia moja useme hii unafanya na parara sana.
Mimi nimeparara by then, niliambiwa hapa ni parara.
Uangalie ingine one, as in if you wash your clothes you don't need to use too much of it, right? So it will be solving your need. However you look at it, and as much as the bottom line, you look at the price, because what you have will dictate what you take. But you'll also do a little bit of comparison.
I'm going to get again a bit with the terms here.
No, go.
Acha niendelee.
That's what I mean.
Sawa.
It is what it
So when it comes to customer acquisition costs and customer lifetime value, how do you view this?
You know, when I was in campus, I did some study on customer satisfaction and growth of businesses.
Yes.
And you basically found that it cost a company 5 times more to get a new customer than to retain a customer that you have.
Okay.
Right? So it's easy for you to retain. That's why you need your customers to be satisfied. So that's why you need to look at the customer satisfaction levels. Kama umeridhika na product, you keep buying. And you'll actually spread good news about the product. But if you don't like it, unajua, in as much as
Kama Giuliani. See, you all
ataambia
keep on
kama
going
watu
for his
10.
concerts.
Inamaanisha watu wameridhika na product. Unajua, you as a brand, wewe pia ni product. As Giuliani. Because uliniambia you're no longer an artist, wewe ni
entrepreneur.
Bas. So, unajua kuna school fulani tulikuwa tunatengeneza program, alafu mtu akaandika hapo hivyo akasema, na niandike Giuliani ama niweke jina yake ya ID. Nikamwambia Giuliani is the brand, so andika Giuliani, right? So what I'm saying is with your question, I mean, customer satisfaction is a very key thing when you go into the market, and that's why you have to be really careful with the products that you offer. So a slight thing can bring you down. Tuangalie, and also market dynamics. You also have to move with market dynamics. Tukiangalia, I think tukipigwa picha, now that I'm looking at cameras hapa, kulikuwa na nini moja inaitwa Kodak. Ukipigwa picha ulikuwa unajua kamera nyingine? Ama ile film? In fact, they had...
It's like Fuji.
Fuji ligamba baadaye. Probably it was there, but we only knew.
You only knew Kodak.
Si tulijua Kodak sana bana. Hizi zingine tulikuja kuona baadaye. But unajua, one thing that happened is they had a very good product and they were market leaders. Right? But when your technology ilikuwa na change, they didn't realize that they also need to change with it. So watu wakaenda digital au wakabaki
analog.
Na hivyo ndio ikaenda. Alafu pia kuna simu nyingine yenye ilikuwa nayo, ilikuwa ukiangusha ina disintegrate, lakini unaweza pick back the pieces na uweke. So your product can be top notch, but you also have to look at the market strengths and make sure that your customer is always satisfied as they move with the trend, so you also move with them. That's why walikuwa wanasema, unajua ile element wanasema customer is king. But hapo ndio inatoka.
So when that happened, does it mean sasa because me as nilifika place as an artist, so let's say so najulikana widely in the country, so I'm a national artist more. Nilianza na Dandora, and then Nairobi, and then national, ndio. And maybe national based on they just like one song. They know my name and they like one song. Kuna watu sasa they just like one song, they don't even know who sang it and whatever.
Unajua kitu moja ilikuwa na kusell. Viga yako na your presence on the stage.
But hiyo ni wewe ni mtu uko na wifi, uko na nini, you can access and you uko na TV.
No,
So
hata wale wasi walikuwa wanakuja live events. Utauliza msee ni nini ambayo unaweza differentiate nayo Juliani? Atakwambia ni stage presence na Viga. Alafu na ile stand yako
unapenda kufanya ni actions yake.
Kufanya
Madrid. I know how to control the people. But what I'm trying to get at is
so akona vibes ya audience.
Bigger place.
Leo na feel poje nimekaa katikati ya artists.
No. So if you place now as an artist, so you have two choices or more, I don't know. But the first option is either do more products. I'm a different products. So come, I'm doing hip hop integrated with genge or rock or whatever to make flavor around it, so that it's the same. Maybe the same consumers consume it, but in different formats. Ama I go wide across East Africa. I grow East Africa. I grow Africa or go whatever. So when you imefika point ya umefika certain level
growth,
do you create when you mesema do conduct, does it mean they were supposed to either, and the dynamics as you say, create new products, improve on their own products, ama go to new markets, like ama all together?
So the product also determine the markets. I mean the market dictates the product. Na ukishatengeneza product sasa itakuonesha ni market gani ita reach. Kuna different types of customers for different products. So it could be one company with the same technology, but you have a variety of products that you offer. Right? So solutions ingekuwa they keep the old school yenye watu walikuwa wamezoea, but at the same time they try out the digital version kuona vile market ina respond. We can respond poor, then you can push.
Okay.
And that's why unajua alikuja kugundua saa zingine, let me use an example of some companies normally develop their adverts. Wengine watatengeneza tu ad alafu wapeleke play it on the TV. But some others will bring people to a room and have them watch the commercial, alafu wapate feedback. Wakwambie hiyo commercial imekufanya unaweza buy hii imekufanya unapata ile feel ya kubuy product. So they are also testing how the market will respond. So what that does is by the time they get their advert out, ikuna effect. So the same thing you're also supposed to do as an entrepreneur. If you don't have the resources, you don't have to bring people to a room. Si ndio? Mimi naweza pika mandazi nikupatie nikwambie hebu onja, utaniambia last time kulikuwa na kitu ulikuwa umeweka siiski ilikuwa nini, alafu unajua labda ilikuwa carrots hivi ulikuwa umeweka huko. Ndio yenye ulikosa kuweka.
But Amadi, if you're not a mandazi entrepreneur, I mean you're a tech entrepreneur, you're an artist, then how do you reach your potential target?
Unajua, even as an artist, you can bring your close friends together. Ama hata si hata close friends, zingine wengine watakuchocha tu.
But the principle, what you're trying to say is that the principles are the same?
Yes, the principles are the same.
The principles ya mandazi na
hii business ingine bado ni the same. If you have a song, for example now, unaweza nichezea tu randomly. Labda you just met me for the first time. And then you realize when you're having a conversation, I like music. So utaniuliza, what kind of music do you like? Without telling me, hiyo music ni yako, nakwambia, nilisikia ngoma fulani, hebu isikize.
So what advice are you giving the entrepreneurs out there in terms of entering into market?
When you want entry into a market, you also have to test your product and see how the market responds. Because unaweza tengeneza bidhaa mingi upeleke soko na ikuwe dead stock. Umefungilia capital. So test kidogo, you see how the market responds, and then now you can go to full production. That's the basic things what hufanya, for example, when a hub has a space. Watakwambia, you will come, you can do some prototype just to test the idea. The reason is you do it so many times that you become, you reach the point of almost perfection. That's when you move to production.
But I rather do the opposite, where you do, try, improve, do, try,
Bas.
or try, do, improve, try, do,
Hiyo
improve.
inaitwa kitu
So
inaitwa
inamaanisha
plan, do, check, act.
kumbe kuna
Kuna model
Kwa
buda.
methodology hapa.
okay.
Lakini wewe unaitumia. Hivyo vile tu umemention hivyo ndio iko.
Yeah, because I mean, Steve Jobs says, it was said that he said that the consumer are not sure of what they want.
Saa zingine unajua unaweza kuwa wewe ndio una dictate the market with so kuna wale wana penetrate market na vitu innovations wanaleta vitu mpya that are not there in the market, right? So that also works sometimes, but pia inaweza it could also hit you hard as well. So there's a flip side to it.
Okay.
So you see, even as an artist, you'll realize that as an artist, when you grow, it reaches a point now, if you do anything new, people will be more receptive to it than any other new person when you are Jew. Ni kama kwani I think Gengeton imekuwa there for some time. Watu walikuwa nasikia wanasema hii ni nini. At some point I used to watu walikuwa wanacheza muziki nasikia, but ikafika mahali other people also started, other artists, big artists wakajaribu kucheza nayo, then everyone now started getting to it. So it became a trend.
Okay.
You know, when you're a trend setter, ukifanya kitu different, then people respond to it differently.
Okay.
Then kama ulikuwa tumeanza from the bottom. So there is a growth curve that you also have to achieve.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. What do you see as some of the barriers for an entrepreneur in this market?
It's a good one.
Sorry?
Nasema that's a good one.
Barriers. Barriers unajua pia kuna kitu inaitwa access to markets. If probably you do not have the right technology, then you might not have access to the global markets. Utakuwa tu hapo kwa village, right? You could be so good, but hauna someone to hold you to help you penetrate the market. You know, from the time you were in high school, how many good footballers did you see in school? But they did not have the opportunity to go and join the national team.
But they are good in your eyes. You wear pia si ati uko poa hivyo. So kila mtu ni good kama si.
Kuna wase walikuwa poa sana. As in, if I give you an example, our high school used to play rugby. Kuna watu walikuwa poa sana rugby, and now others una saizi national team, na kulikuwa na watu wengine walikuwa poa zaidi kuwashinda. Sasa zingine pia inakuwa the opportunity for you to access the market.
Right? So what do you do in that case?
Unasoma zaidi, una network, unapiga nduru.
Networking is key pia.
Okay.
Networking can open so many doors for you that you could not imagine, right? For example, if I am an upcoming artist, right, and you are an established artist, you know, it's very difficult for my song to be played by a DJ, right? Because they don't know me. But in common sense, if you're a DJ na ujui mziki, unless mtu akupatie ama usearch ama you hear someone else playing it, that's when you start playing it. But if I do a collab with you, it's easier, right, for the song to be played and now people to be able to know me. So networking is a very key element as well, because now it opened doors for you to be known, and also it could open doors to some negotiation tables that you could not have accessed as an individual. So we are social beings, right? And for example, so if she knows what I do, or the products that I have, and she's gone to a meeting and someone wants the same product, you'll probably then recommend and say, okay, I know Amadi does. I provide this kind of service. So now that I know you and you know my product, it has opened the door for me to access that particular market.
I think like in conversations about investment as well being a barrier. Do you see that as a barrier?
Access to financing,
There we go.
it's a key thing. It's a key thing. If you go to a room na ulize wanabiashara ni nini mnataka tuwapatie hapa saa hizi mkuwe sawa, watakuambia number one thing, pesa.
Amadi, so 10 years ago in the tech ecosystem, first thing you asked an entrepreneur, what are the key challenges? The first thing that would be, it would be access to capital. 10 years later, it's actually shifted. Access to capital has actually gone down in the list. So
Because now they have access to computers. So kitambo it was a bit difficult for you ukue home and there is a computer or a desktop. Either uende ofisi ama uende kwa watu ni masource kiasi ndio you get an access to the computer. So someone will need the money to buy the computer. But now even people who go to campus have an access to computers. So they will either borrow and just do their coding using their friend's laptop. So that's why there's a little bit of shift in terms of the frequency of how people then saw capital to be the most important element for them to venture into a business. And then internet also has played a key role. The penetration of internet, access to internet, has also presented another thing, access to information, right? So all those elements then contributes to the shift that you're talking about, where people saw capital to be or money to be the leading thing for them to start a tech business.
Sasa, I mean, we learned it. So, but woko kwa sahi sustainable inclusive business. So let's look. So what are you selling? Because you're not selling product. Sindio? When you go to KEPSA, you're trying to talk to your membership, to the membership of KEPSA, about this other value that automatically help their business in whatever way it can help them.
Now you see, that's a value add to what we offer as KEPSA. Because now we want.
But what is that thing that you're offering?
The one thing that you're offering is the access to information, and then supporting businesses, so hand-holding them to go them through the paths in understanding either, if you talk about something like circular economy, and ensuring that you reduce wastage and increase efficiency.
But so you have to tell me, as a manufacturer, you tell me if you take this approach to business, circular economy, and whatever it means, if you'll be efficient, you'll spend less money, you do this. So what is the exactly thing that you're telling this business, telling them that if you follow this path in building business, in the long run, I'm immediate to get easy benefits. What is that thing?
So the one thing is looking at your business from the context of three things: the people you work with, the environment you're working in, and of course your profits. All these three things have an interconnection. But of course, the basic thing for a business is to make profits. That's the number one thing, because if you don't make profits, you're not going to be there tomorrow. You'll close shop. So kitu ya kwanza ni utangalia ni, are you able to make profits? Like the other thing again that we talked about is the trends in the market, again, dictate how you also need to change your product. So that, like for example, now people are looking at eco-friendly products.
That's the market is in a dictator.
Yeah.
Not there, okay.
Market na dictator, na saa zingine pia ni laws and regulations.
Okay.
For example, saizi kuna the extended producer responsibility regulation that says the producer will be responsible for their packaging product post-consumption. Meaning, umeuza product, mtu ametumia, akarusha, but bado you have the responsibility over that product.
Okay. So you're forcing somebody think of profit, but also now think of the environment and think of other people.
Not forcing, supporting them.
So, Kizungu is the same word.
Kuforce ni kitu tofauti, my friend.
Government ndio ina force. Regulation ndio ina force.
Hapana we.
Hakuna force hapo?
Unasema kusupport.
No, I'm saying government because governments they create
sasa lazima gava iko na laws and you have to follow the laws, unajua. Usipofuata
Ni
law
protocol. Policies.
Sini kama nini tu Biblia inasema kuna laws, usipofuata moja
usiende huko bro. Hiyo ni argument nyingine, usiende huko please. To argue about you tena. But anyway, but for me the reason why I felt like because kwa market anytime when we talk about, for me now it makes sense when exchange of product and services. I've got to tulifundishwa kwa shule. But later in life as an artist, I realized value. So inamaanisha value ina dictate that we have sat here for the last talk as doing a Jessica, and we talked to people and whatever. Nobody's getting paid, nobody's whatever, no. But there's no exchange of product and service. We are creating a product that we might share information with and knowledge and whatever with, no. But there's value. So now the way we interact with value, I mean the way we interact with marketplace, definition imechange kidogo, so ni more value than product na services peke yake. Yeah. That's why I mean I felt the sustainability angle pia ina important because value inamaanisha inaangalia aiangalii one aspect, inaangalia the whole holistic outlook at least, where you include watu, you include environment, you include yourself.
So
it's not just the utility.
Yes.
From the economic point of view, but what Julian is trying to emphasize, it goes further and goes to what you're looking at, the sustainability side of things.
Yeah. And you see, sustainability is also broad. If you look at it from a different perspective, it basically means that one, your business should be there tomorrow because you're meeting your short-term and long-term obligations. And then it's also looking at the environment itself.
Yeah.
Right? So how are you sustaining your environment? Because if you're not offering a service and you're offering a product, you need inputs, right? So meaning if you don't take care of your environment, then the flow of your input itapungua. Kama unatengeneza soft drink, unahitaji maji. So if you don't invest in the water catchment areas, inamaanisha your input, you'll be short of your input at some point. So the environment is also key. Ama kama wewe ni mtu wa agriculture, unaweza kuona till land lakini you don't take care of your land, so the productivity levels reduces. Wewe utakunaangalia tu lazima ni nalima na harvest nauza. So
quality, soil quality goes down.
Yeah, and then people as well. We work with people, right? So if you don't take care of your people well, inamaanisha they'll either leave you, and the people also then determine the productivity of your entity.
So I think tuiland hapo, but because for me I mean the reason why we are doing all this stuff and I'll keep emphasizing is that we are extending beyond that, and Alexander nimeweka hizo vitu tatu. So we are extending beyond profit because sahi you're going to release your song on NFT and your so inamaanisha just because you're releasing it through NFT inamaanisha only a small number of people you're
consume.
talking to consume, yet it's something that you want everybody to consume.
Correct.
So you like as many people as possible to consume, but the way to distribute it, you can't distribute it through radio, you can't distribute it, so you have to create your own marketplace.
There you go.
Unaona, you have to create your own marketplace to get to the people as much as you want to use the normal channels, so any barrier that was set in the normal channels, the traditional media, the nini, ama even taste. Same fulani anapenda tu reggae wasawa. Unaona, anapenda tu reggae na yet if they interact with your music they will it our bamba or whatever, no. So I feel like if we relook, and I like you to relook at what inamaanisha hiyo story ya market, and we don't just look at from the way tulifundishwa kutoka kitambo. Na sisemi ati nyinyi mnauza upepo. It makes sense because you unauza hii aspect ingine ya business and how to look at business, not just profit. So I think that was really, really important to have your conversation here when it comes to markets. Yeah,
True.
Sasa any other nini nimetoa ama una kitu unataka ku emphasize?
I mean, I think vile umesema businesses should be able to look at their strategy and see how the marketplace behaves. So basic place tulisema customer is king. Na pia beyond that unaangalia different aspects that will help you grow, as also you look at the change of strategy and the market trends. So those are the basic things that you're also able to look at. Now, market tumesema tu sio pale unaishi. So also think global with the products that you have. Kuna tailor huwa ananishonea vitu smart sana.
Unajuaje ni smart? Wewe unaona ni smart but maybe si.
Sintavaa siku moja utaona basi.
Okay.
But akona market pia in other countries.
Okay.
So value pia ina increase as you grow. Yeah.
Sasa hauna emphasis uko tu sawa.
Emphasis ni hiyo value unalipa customer yako. And hiyo value inaweza kuwa pesa au knowledge ingine fulani.
Okay. Sasa